and activities niche. Today we will discuss why it is the best niche where you can earn money fast, especially if you will follow the tips and strategies provided by our amazing experts. And I'll introduce them a little bit later. And now a few words about today's agenda. So first, we'll provide you with an overview of the tourist and activities niche and tell you about the brands and products that you could promote at Travelpayouts. Then I'll hand over the mic to our GetYourGuide expert, who will go over the main features and advantages of the GetYourGuide program at Travelpayouts. And then we will move on to our panel discussion with two successful travel creators who will talk about their experiences and share their advice on working with the niche. After, there will be a discussion on monetization strategies and tactics. And we will end the webinar with a Q&A session. So we'll follow the agenda, but please do not hesitate to ask any questions in the chat. We'll definitely try to answer all of them during our Q&A session. And now, I'm excited to introduce you to Mihai, an affiliate marketing manager at the GetYourGuide affiliate program. So hi, Mihai.
Hello, Daria. Thanks. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, so thanks for joining us today. So we will look forward to getting more insights about how to earn as a GetYourGuide affiliate. And my name is Daria. I'm responsible for growth of tourists and activities brands at Travelpayouts, and I will moderate today's discussion. Also, I'm thrilled to introduce you Megan Starr, the creator of 6 travel websites that bring in more than $60,000 income in every month. So, hi, Megan.
Hi, I'm happy to be here.
Also, we have Clive. Yes, hi, Clive.
Hi, hope everybody's well.
Yeah, nice to see you. Clive is a Spanish eco activity expert, a writer, and the owner of 4 blogs dedicated to different places in Spain. So thanks for coming. So it seems that we have a lot of experts today and the same amount of information to share and discuss. So that's great. And so let's start with the main question. Why work with tours and activities niche? And let's go over some of the biggest reasons. So first of all, it's very popular. Nearly double the numbers of travelers intend to buy walking tours this year. Also, there's a wide variety of brands and products. So, for example, at Travelpayouts, we have 15 brands that are dedicated to tours and activities. Tours and activities are actually in high demand any season. Whether it is a cold winter in Norway or just hot summer in Thailand or Spain, you will definitely find something to promote and focus on. And also, this is a very profitable niche. Yes, the last but not least, you can earn money even if you're just starting out in travel affiliate marketing, or if you're already an experienced publisher who wants to just increase their income. So, for example, here in the slide, you can see $9,000. Actually, this is an real amount of money that one of our publishers earn in a GetYourGuide program. Yes, it's an actual profit. So, as I mentioned already, one of the advantages of tourists and activities is its variety of products. You can find and promote attractions, private guides, city cards, tickets to museums, and shows that are available worldwide. Also, this niche fits any audience. So you can recommend group tours around the city to solo travelers. For families, for example, you could recommend to buy, I don't know, for example, tickets to museums, yes. And for friends and for couples, it's great to promote wine tours, for example, hiking activities, so and so on. And tourist and activities affiliate programs can work also with different type of content. In one blog, you can have an article where you share your experience of traveling to for example, a specific country, a specific city, or another article dedicated to their specific event. For example, at Travelpayouts, we have a blogger who dedicated all his blog to the events in Ibiza, and so it's just really very popular. And also you could write about a specific attraction also, for example, Burj Khalifa in Dubai. So talk about how to get there, how much the ticket cost, how and where users can buy them, and even include the map in the content. Also, just an option, you could focus your content on travel companions. For example, if you travel with a dog or just solo, and explain the best destinations for each companion. So there are definitely no limits to the type of content you can produce with tourists and activities. And at Travelpayouts, you can join, as I mentioned, 15 tourist and activities brands and programs that best fits to your project. The most popular brands to work with are, for example, Viator. This is one that's most popular among the United States travelers. GetYourGuide. This one is super popular in Europe. Tickets, online ticketing platform for museums, shows, attractions. GoCity is also the perfect option for travelers who, for example, plan on visiting multiple attractions and sites. Klook is very popular for Asia region, yes, and also Ticketmaster. Ticketmaster, yes, there you can buy tickets for different theaters and actually sport events. So also, as you can see on the slide, the commission rates for all of those programs are different. The rate depends on the service the brand offers and the type of traffic it allows. And so now I just want to give a special shout out to is GetYourGuide. Here is where I introduce again Mihai, yes, an affiliate marketing manager at GetYourGuide. Mihai, could you please tell us the advantages of GetYourGuide for affiliate partners and for travelers?
Sure. Thank you so much, Daria. Very great context that you already brought. Yeah, I guess it's obvious for everyone that nowadays travelers are not only looking to reach places or to get to a specific point, but more to experience something there, and ideally something unforgettable. So that's something that we at GetYourGuide, we are trying to fulfill. So basically, we are the online marketplace that are offering booking tours, attractions, experiences, countless of other activities that one can do in your next vacation or weekend adventure or any type of travel, basically. So yes, basically we do have something that is very specific for our users in terms of travelers attraction. And if Daria, if you can help me with the previous slide, I'd like to,
sure.
yeah, thank you. I would like to showcase a bit why do our users are using us and our why they are loving us. Yes, we do have three very particular things that we are focusing on nowadays, and one of it is the wish list feature. Basically, all our GetYourGuide users are loving this feature because they can add different type of experiences, different type of activities in a specific list that is shareable, so they can then plan their next trip with their peers. Then we'd have this feature that ensures that we are offering the best price for an activity. So basically, if you are trying one of our experiences and you find the same experience on a different platform at a lower price, we are guaranteeing to pay you back the difference. And obviously the free cancellation, which allows travelers around the world to modify and adapt their plans up to 24 hours before the scheduled time. So these are three main things that we know that our travelers and our GetYourGuide users are loving about us. And now knowing this, I can go further on how do we work with affiliates, with affiliate publishers. So Daria, if you can help me with the next slide.
Yes.
yeah, we do have a few features for which affiliates are loving us. First of all, and I cannot feature and highlight this enough, that we do enjoy great support at Travel Payouts. And I think most of you are already travel experts that are working with us and with Travel Payouts, and you are already aware of that, and we cannot be more thankful for that. Then one very practical stuff is the highest standard commission in this tours and activities vertical. You will get 8% commission for the general activities and 10% for the GetYourGuide originals. Then knowing this, you can already do some math after you calculate the great average order value. That is definitely something that adds in the equation. So yeah, in order to implement this, you have different tools at your service. Obviously, the text links, the text tip links are something that is proven to be converting the best. Then you can use the banners, and also we do have 3 types of widgets, which are the activity widget, the city widget, and the availability widget. And this last one is already showing great results in conversion rates, because travelers around the world can already see if the activity they are desire is available at their desired time. So that's a great mix in here. And yeah, I think we offered already many reasons to start discussing about it. But yeah, I guess we can go further now.
Yes, so thank you, Mikhail, for this GetYourGuide introduction. Yes, and so I just would just like to remind our audience, yes, that we will have the Q&A session at the end of our webinar. And if you have questions to Mikhail about GetYourGuide, or to me about other tours and activities programs, please write them in the comment section. We'll definitely, yes, trying to answer them at the end. And so let's now move from theory to practice. It's time for our highest earning bloggers to share how they started working with tours and activities, and for sharing their tips for how you can make it big in the tours and activities niche. So hi, Clive, again. Yes, so nice to see you. Clive, I just want to remember that everyone that Clive is a Spanish activity expert and travel writer, and as Travelpayouts partner, Clive has been able to generate over $20,000 in sales, yes, in the tours and activities niche, with his website Camino del Rey, which is dedicated to a beautiful place in Spain. So, Clive, could you please tell us what has been your experience with the niche? So let's start our discussion.
Excellent. Hi, everybody. Experience of the destination, or experience of Travel Payouts, or GetYourGuide?
Yeah, what your experience with the niche, with the tours and activities? Yes. So how you start? Yes, with this niche. Yes, why you choose tours and activities? What is the advantages for you?
Okay,
how
so
you started. More about your blogs, maybe. Yeah.
More about my blogs. Yeah. So I'm a traveler, and decided, like many travelers, to write about the things that they do. At some point, you have to earn some money about all these things that you write and all the experiences that you have. So the best thing for me to do was to find some kind of affiliate program that could help me do that. Travel Payouts did that, and with GetYourGuide, it did it as well, specifically with my website about the Caminito del Rey, because it's a very, very niche but dedicated and focused subject that people want. People want it. Because I live in Spain, and many of the websites in Spain are difficult to navigate in their native language, I created the English language version for this destination and promote it solely in English, using GetYourGuide as the affiliate system. earn money to try to make a living. That's what all travel bloggers want to do. We want to travel and make a living at the same time, no?
Yes, so that's true. Yes, so I think, Clive, I think, yes, that it's great that you explore your home, yes, your surroundings, and so create a content based on your passion. Yeah.
I think, yeah, it's a local guide. I live and work where I write about. So my websites are my passion because it's where I live. I don't live the other side of the world and write about the other side of the world, but that can work as well, as long as you look at your content and you research your articles properly. In some of the articles on my websites, I haven't actually been there, but I do a lot of research, and I don't publish anything until I've contacted the people who do live there and who do work there. And in many times, especially with Get Your Guide, some of the people providing through Get Your Guide for the activities that I'm linking to, I know those people because I've written to them and I've said, "Oh, hey, you're working with Get Your Guide. I run this website that's focused on this part of where you're working," and they say, "Oh, that's great. Why, instead of linking directly to me, link through the affiliate. Then you can make some money as well." And it works really well.
And so Camino del Rey, yes, this website dedicated to this very place is just the most popular among all your websites. Yes, am I right?
Right now, yes. But working on right now, my website about Ronda is starting to, because I deployed the Get Your Guide and Travelpayouts. It was new for me, putting Travelpayouts, and so there's a bit of, I have 15 websites in total. I have my five major websites are working quite well. Caminito del Rey is the only one that I've deployed Get Your Guide and Travelpayouts on in the last year. And that's and just to correct the sales of the Caminito del Rey, it's actually over 100,000 euros of sales. That's not my commission.
Yes, of course. Yes, I mentioned it. Yeah.
It's not my commission, but what's really interesting is that's money that's gone to the people who are working in that area, because the people who come to my site buy the tickets, and the money gets shared around. It's not just for one person.
So your way is was like to make a website, yes, that dedicated to a specific place, yes, and where people just a specific place and even attraction, yes, in Spain. So community, yes, where people go and so could find the information. Yes,
absolutely. But I decided on that particular place because it's a popular attraction that has no real help for people. At the end of the day, the people want to go for this walk, but they can't because if the Spanish website doesn't work very well. So my English language website explains how they get their ticket. Basically, I'm just providing a service for those people. But this is why I sell so many tickets for the Caminito del Rey, is because I'm just providing. That's all they want. They want to go for a walk. I'm going to have my ticket, and that's the service we provide. It's working really well. I'm really happy.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing. And so now it's time to hear from our expert blogger who travel just worldwide, yes, in Europe, the United States, Megan, with just to remember the audience, Megan with her partner run 6 different websites at the moment, which allows them to generate enough income from blogging. Yes. So Megan, nice to see you again.
Hi.
Could you please share? Yes. Hi. Could you please share with us your story? How did you choose this niche?
Yeah. So I've actually been blogging for like 12 years, travel blogging. And I kind of just did it as a hobby for wherever I traveled. There was no like specific rhyme or reason I wrote about anything I wrote about. But it fell into like a Scandinavia category mostly, in Europe and as well as Eastern Europe. I think it was around like 2017. Somebody had said to me, "Why don't you turn it into a business?" I was like, well, I figured at that point it would kind of kill my love for doing it, and it would give me like responsibility and stuff. But I was traveling on the road. I didn't have a Schengen visa because I live in Europe, at the time. So I was like, oh, let me just see if this works. So I just kind of overnight monetized it, and it became my full-time income overnight in my full-time job, just because I had built up an audience over the years. So that was a very generic travel blog, just kind of wrote about whatever I felt like writing about. I had a very interested audience at the time because I tend to write about certain areas. Then the pandemic hit. So in like March of 2020, I was in Armenia, which is where my business partner is from, and I got stuck there. And immediately March came, and we also had an Armenian niche site actually to develop tourism there. But it was not anything that we were planning to make a ton of money off of. And it actually has been quite a profitable blog. But so, at that time we were just like, all right, what do we do? What do we do? So we just kind of like wrote it out a little bit. We didn't really think, but we did register a domain, this virginiatraveltips.com. We registered it, but did not do anything with it because we didn't know where things were going. And then I think it was like around summer or something, or maybe it was even into autumn, we kind of realized that Americans were not welcome in Europe and we were not doing very well with COVID. So all of our audience, which was for the most part mostly Americans, we wrote for them traveling to Europe. So we kind of had to change our content strategy and write for them domestically because that's where they were going. So we changed our strategy on our main website, the very generic one, to be mostly US content, as well as we started this Virginia niche site. I'm from Virginia, and I traveled with sports growing up. So I know that region exceptionally well. So we kind of targeted it a little bit in the best way that we could. We started writing about the places in Virginia and around it, but we kind of left out like restaurants, cafes, things that we knew could potentially shut down during the pandemic. And we kind of just wrote about the main attractions because those don't really change over the years. So that's kind of how we did that, and we monetized that site. It took us a while to get off the ground because of some personal stuff. But we monetized it, I think the Virginia site, in March of 2021. And within like 2 months, it overtook our main website as our top earning, just that American traffic with ads. So it was kind of more of I guess we made more money off of ads with that one. And since then, we've started some other niche websites that one of them is more affiliate targeted. The other ones are still a work in progress, actually. We've kind of ignored them a little bit. But yeah, so it's been an interesting run. And now, that Americans have inflation there to an extreme, and Europe is cheap. Now we've kind of changed our focus a little bit back to Europe. So we're kind of filling in the gaps with our main website right now. And with the Virginia one, we're just writing a lot of like weekend guides, getting ready for autumn and winter, because it's not a top destination during that. Well, after autumn, it's not really much of a winter destination. So so it's we just kind of follow what we think is going to happen, and it's worked for us thus far. But luckily we do have 12 years worth of content on one site. So we are able to kind of fill in gaps and create some authority around some of the destinations, even if we kind of let it sit for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And why you just choose these specific niche tourism activities among other niches to promote? Because you just see the first conversions quite fast, yes? Or
with tourism activities, to be honest, like I don't really know what other, Amazon, to be quite frank, is not a profitable thing anymore, in my opinion. And I don't really like working with them. But like tours and hotels, I am very passionate about, especially tours, just because like if you recommend somebody a really fantastic tour and it's going to offer them like a once in a lifetime experience, it is something they'll talk about the rest of their life. So for me, it's so much more fun recommending something to somebody that I know they're going to have a really great memory from, something that I've personally done, or I've done something similar, that I know it's going to give them a really solid experience and something that they're going to talk about into the future. So for me, that's kind of why I do like recommending tours. And as I've gotten older, I take a lot of tours. I never used to. I used to do everything independently. as I get older, now I'm like, it's really nice to have it organized for me and not have to worry about transportation or language. So it's kind of like nowadays, everywhere I go, I take tours myself. So it's an easy sell for me because I'm passionate about it anyway.
Yes, so thanks for sharing. And so now let's get maybe to our specific tips on how to start earning or increasing your income in the tours and activities niche. Yes, and so here I have a question to Clive. So Clive, could you please maybe share with us more what kind of content do you get the most affiliate income from?
Hi. What content do I get the most affiliate income from?
Yes. What content? Yeah. And maybe your tips, strategies, some recommendations to our audience based
Okay, so
on your, yes.
first, the first thing that I always do is using a search engine, search for something that I'm thinking about. So in the case of the caminodelrey, it was how do I get tickets for the caminodelrey? Also, I used a search system such as tickets 2022, or when I started tickets 2018. How do I get these? And when you look at all of the results that come up on your search engines, you see that there's something lacking all the time. And normally what happened with me, it was the tickets were all sold out. There were no tickets available. So as I live very close to this attraction, I went there, did my on-site research, and find that, well, okay, so you can't buy a ticket online because they've all sold out. So then why is that? Okay, so there's only 1,100 people allowed into this attraction every day. Online ticket sales are only 600 tickets a day per day. So then I'm saying, well, where are the other 500 tickets? There must be the ticket, they must be somewhere, yeah? So I go into the nearest hotel and say, hey, if I stay here the night in this hotel, do you get me an entrance into this attraction? And they said, yes. So I say, oh, so you have tickets allocated to you then. So then I find out that this system, this booking system, has various tiers of how can you buy a ticket. So the first thing I do is write a page on the website. When the ticket system, the official ticket system, is full and there's no tickets left, don't worry, no problem. How can you get tickets? And the solution is stay in this hotel. So and this hotel obviously has an affiliate link to stay in its hotel. People book the hotel and people get their tickets. It's really easy. The other way is that you can. So my biggest earning page for the caminodelrey is how do you get your tickets, and the second is how do you get your tickets if you can't get your tickets. And
on the official website, right? Am I right? Yes.
Yeah, but the official website, and people go to the official website. They get very, very, very frustrated, and they just can't get what they want. And then so they do a little Google search or a little Yahoo search or an MSN or whatever search they do, and they end up on my website and they find out that, oh, look, I can get a ticket. I'm going to book that hotel. Or through GetYourGuide, for example, there's now over, I think, 30 companies. And of the 30 companies that advertise now via GetYourGuide on my website, I know personally 26 of them because I live in the area where I work. So I know those. It's also something that I know that when the customer comes to my website, they can buy what they want. They don't have to click again to go somewhere else. So that's my page, is how do you get the ticket? But of course, first you have to find the problem. And the problem is people couldn't get tickets. So all I've done is made a solution for people to make them happier and to make them get what they want. Does that help? Does that answer?
Yes. That makes sense. Yes, thank you. And
The
now,
most important thing is research. You have to research. You have to research what people want.
yes, research. So identify the problem, what people search, and so then so then create content. So yes, thank you. And I know that so Clive is using GetYourGuide, not GetYourGuide, but so Megan, you are just combine brands. I know that in tourist and activities niche also. So could you please provide us with the different examples and your tips, your just strategy, how you combine those brands, and just should we do it at all? Yes, to combine them.
Yeah, I mean, so for me, I'm dealing with two different audiences. I would say that the majority of what I deal with is American, especially on my niche websites, minus the Armenia one. It's like 95% Americans, and Americans know Viator. So I work with Viator through those ones. But then when I'm dealing with Europe, it's even if I'm dealing with Americans, they tend to not be as confident in their trip as they would be if they were traveling somewhere in the US. So they kind of go off of what I recommend a lot more than they would in the US. They're a little bit more like, I don't know. But so I feel like, I really have this great relationship with GetYourGuide, and I live in Germany and they're based in Germany. So, and I've been there to their office, so I know a lot of the people. So I have this like extreme comfort level with recommending GetYourGuide. And when I do travel myself, I take only GetYourGuide tours, and I take tours almost everywhere. So I do exclusively take GetYourGuide tours unless it's something that's very specific somewhere else. So for me, I work with both, kind of just depending on the location. So if it's Europe, chances are if you're going across my site, you're going to see GetYourGuide. If it's US, chances are you're going to see Viator. And it's just based on, the portfolio for Viator is really great in the US as well. But I do mix them up a little bit. If something's not working, I change it out. But for me, like the one thing that's been really key is I'm very strategic about what I offer people. So I know, like, if I'm dealing with certain destinations, there's like once in a lifetime experiences there. So if I'm, dealing with, I don't know, the Arctic, somebody that's going there is going to want a Northern Lights tour. And I know, instinctively, if somebody's never seen the Northern Lights, they're not going to know that it's the Northern Lights. So that is something that every person that's visiting there for the first time is going to book a Northern Lights tour. There's like no doubt about it. Then I try to upsell them. So I know that they're also going to want to do these other experiences that they cannot do independently. So I think it's about finding what people cannot do on their own and figuring out a way to explain to them that it's just easier to book it through a tour, or you can only book it through a tour. I have certain destinations where you cannot see certain things without an actual tour. So I think it's about kind of emphasizing that to people. If you take the tour yourself, it also really helps because then they really have this trust in booking that. But it's also about upselling. You know that if somebody's going to the Arctic, they're going to want this, this, this. And then you try to explain to them, you can book it this way, or you create an itinerary for them of all of those tours and how it's laid out. And then they'll book that accordingly. And then, of course, if you've got them, if you've got their trust with booking one tour, they're going to trust you with the other ones as well.
Mentioned the upsell, yes. So could you please maybe just share with us more specific tactics, more tell about the cross-selling, yes. So when to use them, yeah.
So I have everything like pretty well linked, and in a lot of I have like a lot of topical authority on certain destinations. And I kind of know the path that somebody's going to go with booking. So sometimes I'll create an itinerary with those specific tours. That way they see exactly, what they need. I create an entire silo of content around that destination to kind of bring it all together. So I'll give a things to do guide, a things to do in winter or summer, whatever season I'm focusing on. I'll have best tours. I'll have an itinerary with a lot of those tours on it. I'll have small things like how to get from the airport to the city center. That surprisingly converts really well, in any destination, because some people don't even want to be bothered with navigating public transportation. So you sell them a tour with that, then they're automatically kind of funneled into looking at your site for other tours that they are definitely going to book there. But something that's been really helpful for us is, while we write for, that strategy and things, we know that a lot of people, they don't really care what they're going to book. They just want somebody to kind of give them a link. So what we do at the top of each of these guides, 90% of people don't actually scroll down when they land on a web page. They stick at the top fold is what it's called. And whether it be mobile or desktop, they're going to click off. So you have to, catch their attention within that top fold with a really catchy introduction. But also, if you get your affiliate links in that area, they're going to convert a lot more than they would if they're scrolling down. So sometimes people need the entire, they need the entire verbiage. They need to be convinced. They need all that information. But I would say a good 80% of our tours come from that little top fold area. Somebody just literally goes there, clicks on a link. They don't really care. They're just in a hurry to book something. They're not even strategizing much behind what they're booking. They just want somebody that recommended something done. And about 80% of our bookings are coming through that because people, they don't want all the verbiage. Some do, some don't. But I found that the majority don't. They already know what they're looking for, kind of.
And yes, you mentioned promo tools, and I'm just curious. So do you use? So you mentioned these affiliate links, but do you use widgets? Yes, and so how?
No,
yes,
we don't. It was mostly because I'm convinced that they slow down a site. I have no statistical evidence that this is the case. We also have ads on our site, so we take the ads off of all of our completely affiliate guides. We don't have any ads. We shouldn't. At least maybe you'll find some on there, but that's a mistake on my behalf. But all of our actual affiliate guides, we take all the ads off. We don't want any distraction when somebody's going through and choosing this because, these are big experiences for them. We don't want everything jumbled up and then they just click off. So for us, we take all the affiliate or all the ads off of affiliate guides, but we have a lot of guides that are both affiliate and ad driven. So those guides, if I throw a widget on there and there's already ads on there, I think, and I don't know if this really is the case, but I just feel like it would slow down or kind of ruin the user experience just a little bit. So I try to just keep it text, photos, and then the ads that are already there, which, not everybody's happy about ads on a blog, but it's you're getting free content. So for me, that's kind of how I look at it. Yeah. So I don't really use widgets. I've stuck them sometimes in there, but then I always take them out eventually.
And Clive, just for you, the same question. Could you please share your experience? Yes, with this kind of promo tools, so what works for you, affiliate links or just, widgets?
I didn't quite hear the question. Then it was I'm in a.
I'm sorry, maybe something with my connection. Sorry.
Megan was breaking up a bit then, but you were talking about widget links and.
Yes, just what works for your blog. Yeah.
I'm exclusively widgets. Exclusively. Yeah, absolutely. Especially the GetYourGuide widget. But yeah, I also have it. I mean, I'm promoting. My sites are earning money through three main avenues, which is with the Travelpayouts, which I'm on this particular website, which is caminodelrey.es. It's literally just GetYourGuide, AdSense, and private advertisers. People who live in the area and they want to advertise their hotel or their restaurant on my website. But I use widget. I use the activity widget. For me, is what's making all the money. It's just the activity widget from GetYourGuide is working really well. I've tried. The other day I was reading that Google and the are putting now weight on a web page promoting a product, and if you don't give your customers one or two options of prices, different places to buy that particular product, they're putting less weight on your website, and so you're coming up lower in the search engines, which obviously means you're going to make less sales for the product you're trying to sell. So I've done some experimentation. So I've put Viator and GetYourGuide on the same page, but that causes me problems because I've also got AdSense, Google AdSense, which I'm also restricting as much as I possibly can, because I'm very keen that that my website is very focused, and the only thing on my website is things to do with the subject matter. I don't want anything on there. I don't. There's no point me selling insurance for a company in South Africa. You know, I'm selling tickets to a particular attraction. But when I tried putting Viator and Get Your Guide on the same page, and I saw a downward curve in sales. And when I took Viator off, I saw an upward curve. So you can explain it any way you want, but what happens with the widget is providing what Google says it wants. It wants you to give a choice to your customer. And so when you put the activity widget on, I always set it to a minimum of 3 activities and never more than 6, because otherwise the scrolling is enormous going down through the page. But for me, the activity widget is doing exactly what the advice from Google is saying for its search engines, giving people the opportunity to buy the same product from different places at different prices. And so for me, the activity widget works really, really, really well. It's, and that's where the sales are coming from.
So yes, so for different types of content, you can so you use different.
But also on the same pages, on the same articles, on the same content, there's never any other third-party advertising. It literally is an article about that particular subject with the links that go to the activities that you can do in that particular area. So yeah, no, that's a no. Too many widgets and too many adverts confuses the customer.
Yeah, and so thank you for sharing this information with us. And so I also want to mention here that when you are promoting tourism activities, that is very important to understand your target audience. Yes, as we mentioned before. So who they are, when they buy, and what they buy, and what their preferences are. And here I'll pass the mic to Mihai again, who'll explain this more in detail.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's true, I cannot stress this enough. I think knowing your audience is the first and the most important thing that you can do in order to to drive sales, to optimize your implementation, your performance, and so on. So yeah, getting to know as much as you can about the community that you're talking to is crucial. This also means the destinations or the country of your regions or cities or types of experiences or specific tours or activities, as we saw in Clive's example. But yeah, starting from here, it only goes up. And just to make a bit of an overview, so after knowing your audience, then you can increase your clicks number, because then more people would actually click on being interested in what you're sharing and obviously click on that. And having a higher click number, then you can also work on increasing your conversion rate. And that's what ultimately drives the sales number. And then it's a continuous cycle with experiencing and talking about firsthand experiences. So these are the 4 key stuff that I would focus on. And yeah, now talking about the audience and especially on the geolocation, as you can see here, there are some destinations that are performing better than others, but obviously this is always dependent on your community or on your audience's interest. And it's always better to address these destinations to your audience than to focus on the general high-performing ones. Because in the end, you're offering what your audience is looking for, right? So in order to get these destinations or these activity tours for the respective destinations, the highest ranking ones, we are offering you this opportunity through this webinar to reach out to us. So you just have to send your top 5 countries that are very relevant to your audience. So send these top countries to ds@travelpayouts.com by the end of this month, and you'll receive the top tours and activities for these specific destinations. I think that's the best way that we can put it in order to give you a hand in promoting the right activities for you. and not only share the best performing destinations, which I can already say that, for example, in this summer, the high performing ones were Italy, France, and Spain. And I guess there's no surprise there, but it's way more important to address to your community, to your audience, than to just speak for the general high performing ones. And yes, now, as I said, knowing this, we can then increase the clicks number. So Daria, if you can help me with the next slide. Basically, increasing the clicks will can be achieved by a number of stuff. First of all, increase the number of integrations, and we recommend to have 5 to 7 integrations per page. Then obviously, when time is important, try to choose in the high traffic pages first, to choose to integrate there, and to make sure that the content is relevant to those integrations. And as Megan very well said, it's very important to focus on the above default section. So try to insert more links in there, because the statistics show that up to 70% of users do not scroll beyond the above default content. So that's something that you should keep in mind. And formatting, I think this is always relevant to the audience that is following you. So formatting your articles by highlighting the text links, using CTAs, highlighting some specific text frames that are relevant for that particular context is always helping to increase this clicks number. So when we have a better click number, then we can work on increasing the conversion rate. So increasing the conversion rate can be done by in many ways, but we can always say that links are important for bringing more trustworthy information. So usually links have higher conversion rate, and you should integrate them first. But then, as we can see in this webinar, Clive is the proof that widgets are working in the best way possible when you are directing it to the right audience. So links together with widgets are definitely the best way to increase the number of visitors to GetYourGuide, which then leads to the higher conversion rate. So yeah, knowing this, you have to select the right activities in order to have this better conversion rate. Then higher availability or better reviews, or I don't know, very strong customer focus or very dedicated focus to your audience. It's always good practice to be shared. And I think after you've done all this, we have to get back to the roots. We have to get back to where all this travel blogging started. And that means that travel experts are showing their experiences and presenting them in a easy to read way and easy to follow way. So then we always recommend to have firsthand experiences and to talk about them. So Daria, if you can help us with the next slide. At GetYourGuide, we do have some opportunities in this regard. Basically, we are offering from time to time different specific tours or activities that we are offering them to you, to travel experts, to try, to write about them, to say your honest experience in the end, because that's what will drive the most attention, and that's how we are going to help the travelers the most. So yes, we do have this Travel and Earn with GetYourGuide initiative, and right now we are right in the middle of one of the campaigns, which is testing new GetYourGuide experiences for feedback, because we do believe that travel experts have a very good approach and very good overview on how should an experience should look like and should feel like, and we want your honest opinion about them. So we are offering a selected list of GetYourGuide experiences in exchange for this feedback. then you can obviously write about them and offer your audience and your community what they're looking for.
Microphone, yes. So, yeah, thank you, Mihai, for this very helpful information and all the tips. And so now let's switch to the moment that we are actually everybody is looking for. It's a Q&A session. We have a lot of questions, so I see that there are near 100 questions here. Yes, and so let's start with the first question. So, question from for the Q&A: on what basis do you accept bloggers, website owners for the affiliate program? Meaning, how can you determine one website will be doing better with the program over another?
Yeah, I guess it's quite obvious that as long as you are a travel blogger, as long as you are focusing on travel and covering a good piece of content in this vertical, then you're welcome to join our affiliate program. And in terms of how can we determine which website will do better than the other, I think that's our common job here. So once you join our affiliate program, we will work together in order to optimize the integration and to drive the most sales. So as long as you do have relevant content, please join us.
Yes, so and you will always could just write to us if you just started with the recent activities programs such as GetYourGuide or other programs, yes, and to ask to us for analyzing your project, we will help you with this, yes. So the next question: how do you manage so many sites, and do you have a team? So it's for our yes. Content experts, yes, for our bloggers, troll bloggers. So let's start maybe with you, Megan. So how do you manage so many websites?
I'm still learning. So I'm not, I could do a lot better, I'm sure, but I have a business partner and we manage all of the websites together, and we also have a team. So we have two like content manager VAs, and we also have a huge team of writers. So I'm still learning. It's very difficult sometimes. Like some days it's a lot easier than others, but sometimes we're just buried and you can see the opportunity. You just can't get there because you don't have more capacity to do it at that moment. So that is something we're learning, and we actually are going to be hiring another person here soon that's going to manage, because we're trying to really focus on affiliates next year, that we're going to hire somebody that's going to focus on affiliates for us. So knock on wood, I hope that pans out. But yeah, I'm struggling. So if anybody has any tips, let me know. We're just kind of learning as we go, but it's working okay financially, but it's not easy.
Mm-hmm. And yes, and Clive, how do you manage all your websites?
This is amazing, because I am the absolute polar opposite of Megan, and I love the way that Megan's doing her stuff. I think it's absolutely amazing. But I'm the opposite end. I'm a work-at-home dad, not a work-at-home mom. I'm a work-at-home dad. And it's really weird because everyone says to me, "Oh yeah, you're really flexible." Yeah, I'm flexible, because like when I've got the kids to bed, I do another 6 hours until 4 o'clock in the morning. I am totally on my own. I take all my own photographs, write all my own articles. I visit every single place that I write about on my own. I'm lucky that I'm dedicated now just to Spain, so at least I haven't got to go gallivanting across the world like Megan has to. But no, I'm on my own, and I'm really lucky, because I think one of the most important things of what I did was I gave up my day job. You know, lots of people have websites and they think they're going to make a little bit of extra money and this, that, but I don't think it'll ever work. You have to have confidence in what you're doing. So I gave up a reasonably good income that supported my family and decided to just work on my websites. It also means that I get to look after the kids in the house, because my wife is not flexible. She has a full-time job. But no, it's just me. It's just me. And how do I manage it? 120 hours a week. That's how I manage it. I probably work between 80 and 80 and 100 hours most weeks. But in like now, for example, we've got this horrible GDR thing with Google. I've got 5 of my sites that are not compliant, and Google threatening to ban me from their search engines. So I've literally spent the last 40 hours trying to build the code to make my GDPR compliancy. But it's just me. But that's fine. You can work at home. You can do it on your own. Why can't you? Should be able to do it on your own. Anyone can do it on their own. You just have to have the confidence to do it. Give up the day job.
Yes, okay, yes, so thank you, Clive, thank you, Megan. So the next question is, the panel doesn't include tickets, why not an option, and why? So tickets is also amazing program for tourism activities, yes, and so as I mentioned at the beginning, they are quite popular in Europe, and also they have a lot of options of it's a ticketing, yes, program, yeah, and in Europe and the United States. And so now we just have our guest Mihai from GetYourGuide, but we will definitely just mention all the programs, and tickets is among them. Yes. So I just also could highly recommend this program for using. They have 2 widgets. I think that Travelpayouts. So please join the program. Yes, it's also the option. It's also great. Yes, so the question for Mihai. What are the most popular destinations, cities on GetYourGuide, and what is average price for most popular tours?
Right, so definitely we are very well developed in Europe. Just for the summer stats, the most popular destinations, as I mentioned, were Italy, France, Spain, US, and Great Britain were the next ones. But again, I really want to emphasize on directing this to your audience rather than just using the general numbers, because that's what really matters in the end. And yeah, maybe it's worth mentioning that mentioning again that we are open to help you with that. So just send your top 5 destinations depending on your audience by the end of this month, and we will send you the top activities tours for those specific countries. And in terms of average price, obviously that's quite hard to estimate in terms of the most popular tours, because how do we define that? But as I mentioned, the average order value for us is 100 euro. So that's where it stands if you want to have an idea on how much money you can earn by being part of our affiliate program.
Yes, and the next question is for Q&A, yes, to Megan and Clive. So how do you determine what kind of audience will be interested in certain activities? Do you stick to specific theme or just target different groups? So let's start with you, Megan.
I think I just know where I'm writing about quite well. And if I don't know it quite well, we're probably not writing about it. So I think I just kind of intuitively know who I'm targeting with certain things. I know that, like, if somebody, I can see like the bookings coming through as well. So I monitor that. Like, right now we're getting a lot of like Australia bookings for the Arctic. I know that those people are coming for a once in a lifetime thing. I know they're not going to always have, I just kind of know intuitively that, this is what they're looking for. This is kind of the bundle I can offer them with our certain destinations. With my Virginia site, I actually didn't focus on affiliates much with it at first. Then we threw a bunch of affiliates on it, and it turned out well. So I realized that people, if they're going out of town for a weekend to a different city on like a city break, they're looking for kind of just like a 1 or 2 hour like walking tour, a ghost tour, something like that. Never in my mind I actually thought that was what somebody was doing, because when I lived in the US, I was young, I didn't do that. But nowadays I kind of put myself in that person's shoes, and I'm like, all right, what would somebody my age be looking for in a different city? And it's working out pretty well. I think we have a good grasp on our audience. We don't always target it correctly, but we kind of really do know what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And Clive, how it works for you?
Very similar to Megan in that respect. I only write about what I know about. That's the most important thing. And also I find that when you're writing content, if you're writing something that you're interested in and that you want to do, and something that I like, then there's bound to be a million other people that like what I like. So, the most important thing is to be really interested in the subject that you're writing about. For me, it's wildlife, Spain, natural parks, national parks, biodiversity, geoparks, everything to do with Spain and the environment. So the activities that I'm interested in are the activities that I write about. So I don't target groups. It's kind of like I try to get groups targeting me. I try to write content. I don't want to go anywhere in Spain that destroys the environment. So I write about subjects to protect the environment, sustainability, and that way, when people come to my websites, they're coming because they're already interested in the subject that I'm writing about. So, and that's halfway to selling the product, But also, I feel that I'm selling a product that's sustainable and environmentally friendly as well, which helps me. But no, I think it's the other way round. And rather than me targeting a group, that group needs to find me, and they find me by me writing that content.
Mm-hmm.
See?
Yes, thank you. And the next question is, how would you advise bloggers to encourage people to book a tour instead of exploring a certain area by themselves?
Me?
Go ahead.
So continue.
Oh, no, I'm still on. All right, no, this is amazing because this is local guide. Nobody knows somewhere like someone that lives there and works there and their family's there. That's the only. Why would you want to go somewhere and not learn about that little corner that nobody knows about? Local guides, especially with and I've done my research. I don't advertise anyone on my website with Get Your Guide that doesn't live and work in their area. Local guides, we know about it.
Mm-hmm. And yes,
sorry, Megan.
Yes.
No, I think for me, it's I kind of try to break down the pros and the cons of it. So, I have like a lot of Italy content, and I tell people how to get from like point A to point B. And I give them the option. I tell them how to take the trains. I tell them all of that. But I also tell them you could easily just take a tour and it works out fine. Where we actually do really well with this is on the Armenia website. And that's because there's not a lot of good information in in English out there. There's good Russian information and good Armenian information, but there's nothing in English. So, if I explain to somebody the process, they're usually just frightened off of, there's a language barrier. So they're like, all right, I'm just going to book a tour because it's kind of a comfort thing. So I think I just kind of break it down, pros and cons. And if I took the tour myself, I put that. If I did it myself independently, I put that. And then I also say, but if I had taken a tour, I wouldn't have had this issue, that issue, this issue, etc.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so thank you. And so I think that this will be the last question that we will answer during our Q&A session. So the question is, I'm a photographer and actually not a good writer. That's my biggest problem. I do travel and have a website, but it's very hard for me to make the written content. Do you have any tips? So
I think that if you know what you're good at and you know what you're not good at, and you can figure out, like, I think it's obviously when you're starting out, it's really hard to maybe hire an editor if you don't have the funds for that. But I would definitely look at like blogging a little bit differently than actually writing, because you're writing travel guides. It can be so cut and dry. And if your audience is okay with that, and you're attracting the right people, that's okay. I've written guidebooks and that was very cut and dry, very boring. The audience I was writing for was a totally different demographic than what I usually write for on my blog. So I think that if you're not a great writer, I think that you probably are being a little harsh on yourself. I think you could still operate a blog and have a certain tone and voice there that is going to attract certain people that want to read that. So I say that if you don't have the money for an editor or to hire somebody to help with that type of thing, I think that you should still give it a shot and just see what happens.
Yeah, me too. Just give it a shot, because I all my websites I'm running on WordPress, and with WordPress there's a really good plugin called Yoast, which helps you write, and it gives you all these tips. It's my writing has improved in the last 3 years just by taking all the tips. You can always learn, and I think if you've been able to learn how to take photographs, then you can also learn to write, because it's just the same thing. It really is the same thing. You got to give it a go before you start to farm out to people writing for you, an editor here, an editor there, or go for what's it called, Fiverr or whatever, and you get someone to write you €1,000 article for $5. That's not going to do anything for you for your website, especially if you've taken the photograph. You need to explain what you took. What is it you took? What's in your mind? And then there's all sorts of things you can put on your computer to help you with the construction of paragraphs and how to lay it out in a web format. But you got to go for it yourself.
Mm-hmm. I think that maybe, yes, it could be just like a slogan of for today's webinar. Just give it a try. Yes, work with tourism activities niche. Yes, and we are here to help you always. Yes, if you have any questions or just you need any help analyzing your blog or website, we can help providing you with a personal recommendation. So please write to us, write to our Travel community on Facebook or the email that you see on the slide, and with all tourism activities programs will help you, yes, to earn money and to earn profit. So it turned out to be a great webinar today. Yes, so thank you very much for coming, for joining us. And so we will send the slides of this presentation to all who registered to this webinar. So give it a try. Work with tourism activities. Yes, there's a lot of fun here. Yes, so thank you very much for coming again, and so have a great end of the day. Bye bye.